ATV made some great programmes. Can you even remember what region we're supposed to be talking about? Nor could they. Yes, they had that huge studio in Birmingham, but their main studio, their headquarters, was in Elstree, and the IBA decided that ATV couldn't keep the franchise unless it actually committed to being a Midlands channel. That involved spinning off an entirely new company known as ATV Midland, with the condition that ATV was to have no executive control over the new company, sell the studios in Elstree, and actually change the company's name for good measure just to demonstrate that it was in fact an entirely new company. So that's what they did. On that fateful December 31st, 1981, ATV went gently into that good night, with an interview with Shaw Taylor about his memories of the channel, and a gracious final message offering no mention whatsoever of the fact that it was the channel's final moments. The time now is 32 minutes and 33 seconds past midnight, said the announcer. Have a peaceful night, and I hope you enjoy New Year's Day. And that was it. The new company may have been intended to be still ATV in all but name, but in the event, Lou Gray's parent company divested itself of the new venture after just a year. This really was, as the IBA insisted, a new company. And for viewers between the Marches and the North Sea on January the 1st, 1982, something very strange happened. After a series of fake news reports about a UFO being sighted above Broad Street, Central Television began with said UFO exploding into light, accompanied by what sounded like a nursery rhyme composed by Brian Eno. Oh, sorry, did I say Central Television? I meant Central Independent Television. An amusing little footnote to the birth of a new company, prefiguring the current trend for cyber squatters buying up domain names in bulk so I can sell them on. Some enterprising chancer had registered every possible permutation of the words Central and Television as a company name for precisely the same reason. Unfortunately, he didn't think to include the word independent. The initial spheroid ident was actually pretty derided at the time, perhaps partly because it wasn't like anything anyone else had ever done for a television channel in this country. It was a bit like BBC One on another planet, but as a way of announcing your new station, it's brilliant. Unfortunately, a big static white sphere isn't actually terribly flexible, so before long it was flattened out and rainbowed. This rainbow disc had actually been around from the start, standing in on production captions and the like, for the sphere, which was much harder to carry around. With the rainbow colours, Central finally had a motif to latch onto, and they employed it all over the place, including in the in-vision continuity booths. Incidentally, I didn't mention ATV's in-vision continuity because I didn't have any videos of it, and I didn't have anything interesting to say about it anyway, so get off my back! Anyway, with the addition of the rainbow to work with, Central's presentation department began to pick up steam. Mix in the wave of Channel 4 emulation, which was picking up pace when this was introduced in 1985, and you suddenly end up with mad, wild genius. Shortly after the rainbow disc acceded to the throne, a young pretender made its debut in trailers and promotions. It was 3D animated, and it was called The Cake. The Cake was essentially a cylindrical version of the familiar rainbow disc, the difference being that it was divided up horizontally before being crescentified, which is totally a word, vertically. And such a little thing makes such a big difference, because those extra 6 lines give it the impression of motion even when it's standing still, making Central seem extra dynamic without needing to expend any more effort. Not that stopped them. By 1988, the Cake had replaced the disc in the ident. Not that that was the only way it formed up. The Cake was far too flexible and, more importantly, fun to play with than that. There was even, in a pretty rare move, a central ident that incorporated the unofficial ITV logo at the time, which turned out to be eerily prescient. By the time 1989's Dundas-led revolution came along, Central were on a roll, barely pausing to take a breath in adopting the generic ident as just another variation, albeit one they swiftly gave their own twist to, first by changing the music, and then like this.
You're at the centre of the ITV network.
After that, throughout the 90s, there was no stopping the cake, as the whole notion of a single unifying ident went out the window in favour of a series of surreal, abstract, or just plain daft animations featuring the cake in a variety of guises. In-vision continuity had also bit the dust around about the same time as the cake was introduced, with the idents themselves now being used for random pieces of continuity above and beyond introducing the next programme, and the cake itself took the role of in-vision announcer. And over the years that cake did it all. There was the cake decorated by confetti, the cake backlighting the ITV logo, the cake as sand sculpture, the cake as gigantic perspex thing with the ITV logo dancing around in it in a way that was perhaps a little bit too subtle for its own good. The cake as astrolabe. The cake as some sort of holographic sports projector. Cake in an homage to Derek Jarman's Blue. As technology improved, so did the idents. There was the cake as latter-day Channel 4 ident. The cake as N.C. Escher painting. The cake as some inflatable thing. I'm actually not 100% certain about this one. The cake on fire. The cake underwater. The cake as Formula 1 race car. The cake as cityscape. The cake as optical illusion. The cake as itself. The cake as party machine. The cake as artist's palette. The cake as backdrop to an advert for British Gas. The cake as... oh wait, hang on, no.